that, silly Garfield. Oh, well, hey there. I didn't see y'all. Well, welcome to the Crown and Spear. I'm your host, Stephen Litchfield, and Gary's not here today. But I got an amazing show for everyone today. We are going to do a best of season 1. So sit back, enjoy, and it's going to begin right now. So how's your day been?
It's not been too bad.
Okay.
I woke up, watched a little TV. They had the death of the Prince of Edinburgh going today, and saw some of that.
Who's the Prince of Edinburgh?
The Queen's husband from England.
Oh, okay. I apologize to anybody who likes the royalty. I don't really watch a whole lot about the royalty, but okay.
Well, I slept through part of it.
So is that interesting?
It was interesting. A lot of pomp and circumstance.
Well, I would assume so.
Interesting time.
Yeah.
We don't do all that much of that here in the U.S.
No, because we don't really have kings or queens or anything. We can all be our own king and queen in our own...
King for the day.
No, I'm saying in our own lives.
Oh, okay.
Our homes are our castles, as small as they might be.
That's right. Little castles.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought I'd share an experience I had as a youth. Sometimes those things can be enlightening.
You're talking about back when you and Noah were fishing one day?
Absolutely. I don't know how they didn't catch me stowing away on the ark, but there I was.
Well, they had some strange creatures back then, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Every time there were holidays, like Labor Day, Memorial Day, things like that, my mother's family would all get together and have a picnic somewhere. And it was in very sunny places. Well, my one uncle had a farm. And so as the afternoon proceeded, I happened to notice there was a horse up in the other pasture.
Well, of course.
A horse, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't Mr. Ed.
Oh.
But anyhow, I went to my uncle and said, "Is there any chance we could ride the horse?" And he was a little reluctant because he said they didn't get ridden a lot and they had a tendency to be a little bit on the wild side. But after...
And you were a wild child, weren't you?
Absolutely. And each one of my cousins took turns and got up on the horse, and he would hold the reins and just walk us around where the cars were and back, so we all got a ride. And that was satisfying for most of my cousins, but it wasn't for me.
Oh, of course not.
And I said, I just would love to ride this horse myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so he looked at my parents, and my parents looked at him. He kind of shrugged his shoulders, and they were kind of like, well, okay. Lo and behold, I got up on the horse, and it felt great. He gave me the reins, few instructions on how to guide the horse so it would go in the right direction and how to get it moving. And so I gave a little tap on the side with my legs, and the horse started walking forward. I thought, man, this is great. I am living my dream getting to ride this horse. And we went just a little bit, and as we started to turn to come back around like we had been making circles with everybody else, the horse turned his head to the other pasture where the other horse was.
And we don't know if this was a boy, girl.
Have no clue. I just remember it being two horses. But he looked over there, saw the other horse, and decided he'd much rather be there than where we were, and he took off. I went flying across that field, bouncing all over the place. Wasn't worrying about using the pieces to steer the horse. I grabbed onto the horn for dear life. Horse is galloping along. There was a small stream, and he went splashing through there and running up, and he gets all the way up this hill and stops with the other horse. And I took a deep breath, and I'm like, oh, he finally stopped. Well, at that point, the other horse decided to go to another place, and he took off again, chasing him. And as we're going down there was a tree that we were going near that had a branch about this high. Mm-hmm. And I, of course, had to duck sideways on the saddle, almost fell off. Got past the tree, turned around, and he took off again down the field, just galloping, arms, legs flailing all over the place. And I finally grabbed both reins, pulled back hard, and the horse's head is jerking up in the air. And I didn't want him to go anywhere, and I know it wasn't the right thing to do, but I wrapped those things around the horn on that saddle, and the horse is just sitting there bouncing around, and my uncle's running, and all the kids are screaming and hollering, and he finally gets up there and undoes it and holds onto the horse, and I got off, and shakingly, vibrating, I walked back across the creek and back to where I was sat in a chair for a while.
See, I can visualize you doing this. Now, you said you had your hands on a horse, but I could picture you almost, your arms flowing in the air like, ah! So they were helping other people up on the horses and stuff, but when they got to me, they were like, "Oh, you can do it." I'm like, "Sure." I'm I'm trying to pull myself up. I'm trying to get my leg cocked up there, get into that little stirrup thing and everything.
Sounds a lot like my experience with those youth.
It was not working. Someone actually grabbed my foot, put it up there, and put it in the stirrup, and I feel like I'm doing a split at that moment.
Yeah, I can relate.
And eventually they helped boost me up and get up there, and I almost fell off on the other side. But there's one point that we stopped, and the person who was leading all of us was going to, just kind of give us a little break and was talking to us and stuff. But then when it was time to get going again, all the horses started going. Well, my horse got his head down to the ground and it's eating grass and it's not paying attention one bit. And I'm like, okay, let's go. Get it. Get it.
Anytime now, horse.
They're going that way. Let's go. And it's just, I'm like, oh, they're leaving us behind.
But anyway, following what it said to do on YouTube, got out there to the car when the part came in, and I thought 15 minutes, we're going to have this baby wrapped up, back on the road, and everything would be great. As I got everything ready to go, somehow or another, my socket set of wrenches to get the thing off had disappeared.
Oh, no.
And so I went to my shop and spent...
Dun, 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 dun.
It had you to remove the battery cable first so you didn't electrocute yourself. Then remove
that would have been literally a hair-raising experience.
Absolutely. I don't know what the 12 volts would have done, but it could have tickled my fancy.
Yeah, what little hair you have left.
That could be our intro.
That could be our intro.
Are we back?
I think we're back. You were talking. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
That's what happens when you take a sip out of your fine mug in front of you.
Oh.
Somebody in the past, now, I've got a mind that just doesn't remember anything sometimes.
I understand that. All right, we are back. Let's get back to the amazing, fun story that we're talking about. So that's why God invented harnesses.
True. That would probably be a good idea. We could zip over.
A zip line from one house to the other.
That's right. Hey, come on over with me. Just a minute. Click. We'd have to have two of them so you got downhill both directions.
Yeah, you have to have a way back.
Is that you got to pull and pull? Bob, who was laying over here, looked over at Ken and said, "Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we just tie Gary up and throw him over the side?" At which time, as a little kid, I had a little bit of a temper. And don't even go there. Anyway, standing there next to that hole, I picked up my foot and went to stomp it to say no. And as I said no and stomped down, my foot hit that hole and right through and landed right across my stomach. And then just kind of curled over, hit the ground. And when I did that, it knocked the wind out of me, and I couldn't breathe.
Yeah, I bet it did.
Which scared the fire out of my brothers. And they come jumping up and jumped in there real quick, picked me up, and tried to get me to breathe because I'm kind of like, you know how you go when you get the wind knocked out of you.
Now, when they reached you and turned you over and checked and see if you're okay and everything, you should have said in your little, still, small voice at the time, "That's what you get."
Well, you did that as a baby one time. You were in a protest.
As a baby?
Yes. There was an abortion clinic. And
no, we won't go.
Perfection is just something we're not going to actually reach here on Earth.
What are you talking about? You're not saying that this isn't the object of perfection?
Well, it's in the eye of the beholder. And I guess you're the beholder.
Well, I look at myself the most. Anybody who is ever perfect?
I think there was one person who was.
Okay.
Do you know who that was?
Give me a hint. I mean, I think I know, but I don't know if our audience would know.
Well, he's a guy that lived nearly 2,000 years ago.
Wow, he's old.
Yes. Still alive.
Still alive.
That's right. He did die, but he came back to life. Does that give you a clue yet who this person might be?
I'm getting a stronger clue.
Well, we're talking about the Lord Jesus Christ.
Ah.
Born of a virgin.
I should have figured that much.
You should have, knowing what we talk about.
I know.
Can you ever get to the west by going east?
Well, you just end up going in a circle, you know.
That's it. You keep going east, and you never reach to the west. You just keep going.
Is there such
it's
thing
always
as a true west?
It probably is
We're getting into
some kind of little
some philosophical type stuff here.
So I wish I had something I could show it to you, but it's hard to see my phone just sitting here this far away from the screen.
That's true. Maybe next time we'll have a PowerPoint of something like that.
Maybe we can.
Or maybe by computer magic it'll appear on the screen.
Hey, you never know.
We are going to our traffic reporter, our eye in the sky, to give us an update on the current traffic situation.
You must have enlarged our budget.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to go to our traffic reporter, our eye in the sky. I know. I'm just so great at this. And so, Chester Small Cheeks, can you hear me? Are you up there?
Yeah, I want to get the new crispy chicken sandwich.
What did he say?
Yeah, French fries, some sweet tea.
Son, do you want some apple pie with that?
Yeah, I'd like to have an apple pie with that.
Hey,
Yeah.
Chester.
Oh, in
Chester.
the
Chester.
milkshake.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Like strawberry milkshake.
Chester.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that'd be good too. Yeah.
We're live, Chester.
Okay.
Okay, we'll just... I'm sorry about that, people. Apparently he is flying a helicopter through the drive-thru?
Hey, he's a pretty good pilot and cameraman at the same time.
Yeah, apparently. So, what else happened this week?
But I was going to try to see whether the guy got it or not, and lo and behold, a thing popped in on my phone from him, who I thought it might be him saying, "Hey, I got this," but it turned out he was on a plane heading for another state and then going to California to do editing on the program. And
So he was responding to you personally, saying that he was on his way on a plane somewhere to do some
yeah, right.
photoing, editing, and
I
some
wish.
amazing stuff.
No, it was just a recorded message saying he was on his way. Good old Mountain Dew diet.
Which is not a sponsor, by the way.
You're hung up on that sponsor thing, aren't you?
But if you want to be. So I'm in line and I'm waiting on my turn, and finally it comes up, and so I take the little bread, eat it, and then I go to pick up what I'm thinking is the grape juice, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, this looks different than the normal grape juice I have. But I'm like, man, maybe it's an off-brand or something, you know? So I take it and I swig it back, and then I'm like, ugh. And of course they had this one big cup thingy that was sitting there.
Right.
And at first I was like, is this like a spittoon or something right here? I gotta swallow this. Thursday of Emma Dad's presence. Okay? He was right next to me.
Well, you do a good impression for somebody who does it right.
A new person to the show.
We're having 2 new people. You had the reporter in the helicopter going through a drive-through.
I know. This is amazing, people. Our budget is like, half a penny. But this guy, he is he comes from royalty.
Royalty.
I know.
We just talked about royalty 2 weeks ago.
And I said I wasn't,
and you weren't into the royalty thing.
But this guy, he kind of changed my mind about some stuff. So, so I thought I'd bring him on the show. But because of COVID stuff, he's still in the booth. So, and we don't have a camera in there because we're poor. So I am gonna turn it to Sir Reginald. Sir Reginald, can you hear me?
'Tis I, Sir Reginald.
Wow.
I want to lay down a challenge for all of you
All
who are
right, a
listening.
challenge.
Everyone knows the name of the show. It's the Crown and Spear.
Hey, you got it right.
But do you know why it's called the Crown and Spear?
I do.
I do.
If you think you have the answer, leave a comment down below. Sir Reginald, away!
You
And-
don't want to miss any of this.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
don't wanna
is
miss
this
the
not
show.
enlightening and making your day joyful? Because if nothing else, you can laugh at us too.
I mean, I'm entertained. Are you not entertained?
Attention deficit disorder.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Yeah.
can you focus for a minute there, Steve?
What? Oh,
Well, yeah. ADD is when people have trouble focusing on something. You know, something could squirrel. So we just went down to a spot where there were some trees, and we thought, be shady while we do this, and laid out a blanket on the ground and got our stuff out, and we all threw our stuff in. And lo and behold, Tim found a spot that must have had all the fish in the lake in it.
so he found the sweet spot.
He did. He threw his rod, not the rod, threw the cast.
Just throw that rod in there.
That was my
Dad,
thing.
how do I get the fish back? I don't know. We gotta go to our weatherman to give us our weather report. So if Nimbus McCloud can hear me, Nimbus.
Hey guys, it's it's snowing out here. Back to you.
But something on that size,
What's that called?
an airplane.
You know what that reminds me of?
No.
Our traffic reporter.
Is he still out there in the
He
helicopter?
is. And guess what? It is time for our traffic report.
I hope he's not at the drive-thru again.
Well, we'll see. So, if we are connected with Chester, everybody remembers Chester Small Cheeks. So, Chester, you're on. Come on, Carol. Come on, get out of the way. Hey, move. Move, come on. Come on, get out of the way now. Move.
What is he doing?
Hey, why are you around cows?
When you're in a plane, there's a point at which just before you're going to touch the thing, the plane does a little dip and then touches and hits the ground.
Okay.
We felt that little dip, and all of a sudden, literally, the plane nosed up, and we went back in our seats, and we were facing what I felt like was straight up. Most people in the plane were screaming. I was kind of just gritting my teeth and hanging on. But I mean, a lot of people were just, waving her around and, ah!
Well, there's the whole mount up with wings as eagles.
There you go.
Do you remember how that one goes?
Just like that.
Yes.
You shall mount up with wings as easels. You shall
As
run and not-
easels?
As easels.
In a world where people have marveled at the complexities of life without a single sense of sanity, now 2 men have the slim possibility to change that. To spread their beautiful voices for all kinds to hear, making right when so many times things have gone wrong.
What's another word that describes Jesus?
I don't know if I'm thinking of the one that you are, but
What was the word we just used? Not integrity, but it started with an L.
Love?
Yes.
Yes.
One of the words we use to describe Jesus is that he is love.
He is love.
So
Yes.
with this whole verse, you saying without love you're nothing. So without Jesus,
You're nothing. Yeah.
you know how many times I've heard in my life from random people, whether I'm waiting in line or this or that, and they're like, "Wow, you are really patient. You make a really good husband."
Sometimes I
Okay,
wonder
well,
if he's listening
if
to
you only
me.
knew inside my head, I'm like, "Arr."
But at least on the outside, you are demonstrating a gift of God.
Sometimes I wonder, why can't I wear white after Labor Day? All right, I want to remind everybody that this has been sitting here all this time. And as you can tell, I got my name on the back of it. And if you don't remember, you can go back to the beginning of the show and see that I have not messed with it. It's still the same
Envelope.
envelope.
Sitting in front of Santa Claus.
Sitting in front of Santa.
And you know Santa protects them, so.
Yeah, he does.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I got something that if it works, it's going to blow your mind. If it doesn't work, I'm going to edit it out.
Okay, you may or may not see the following scene.
Yeah. All right. Now, just so anybody knows that in case you can't see it, I'm going to do overlays so that you can see. And I want everybody to play along with us. I need you to take this pad here, if you can.
Get it out from under the
Get out
wires.
from under
that
the
are laying
wires,
there.
yeah. All right, let's put that
Okay,
back.
the pad. Let me turn
And
to
then-
a clean sheet.
And then take your
Pencil.
pencil.
Okay, pencil and pad.
All right. What I want you to do, for those who can maybe see or not, hopefully you can see, and maybe I won't even have to do an overlay. All right, I want you to think of a number between 1 and 10. Quickly think of a number, just really quick, number between 1 and 10.
Okay.
And now we're moving on to the next thing. Now I want you to take that number and multiply it by 2. So once you get that number, multiply it by 2. And then we move on to now add 8 to that number. Has everybody got that number? You add 8 to that
Plus-
number.
Wait a minute. Let me get it down there. I'm doing it quickly here in my head.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's slow.
I hope I added correctly.
Okay. If not,
I
then
use calculators these days. So.
okay. Now I want you to divide that number you have by 2. Now we're dividing by 2. Earlier we were multiplying. Now we're
Okay.
dividing. All right. Now that you got that number, I want you to take your new number you have right now, whatever it is, and then take your original number, taking your original number and subtract that from your current number
Current
you have
number.
now.
Okay.
So whatever that is, so if you can quickly write that down, whatever you think that is.
Okay.
Okay. Now we're coming to an interesting point.
What is all that?
All right. If everybody can see, can you see that on the camera?
Yeah, I can see it from back here. Yeah.
Okay. I want you to find whatever the number is on the sheet and then find the corresponding letter that goes with
Okay.
your
I
number.
found one. I
All
think
right.
I'm right. If I've added correctly, I got a number.
Now, I want you to think of the first country that comes to your mind, not state, the first country that comes to your mind. What is that country? Okay, do you have that in your mind
Yes.
real quick? Okay. Now go to the next letter in that country.
Okay.
So whatever that is, I want you to think of whatever the next letter is, and then I want you to think of an animal, whatever the first animal pops in your mind.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter if you spell it right, just whatever the first animal pops in your mind, write it down real quick. You got it? Okay, now then, will you do me the honors, opening up this?
The mysterious envelope that says Stephen on it, and it's been sealed.
All right, before you tell us what's in the envelope, what was the number you ended up with?
The number I ended up with was 4.
What was the country you ended up with?
Denmark.
Oh my gosh. Okay. What was the animal?
Elephant.
All right. Well, open it up. Well, I'll see how this goes. Can you read it out and show it to the class?
Your number was 4. Your country was Denmark, and your animal was elephant. Ta-da!
There you go, people. Oh yes.
Write to thecrownandspear@gmail.com.
And that is the Crown and Spear. I couldn't talk for a second. thecrownandspear@gmail.com. What you just said.
That's
But
right.
I like to reiterate something sometimes.
Sometimes.
So yeah, just send us a message. We'd love to hear from y'all.
That's what it says right there on the screen. We would love to hear from you.
That was weird.
And you didn't even know
I
I put
had
this
no
on there.
clue that you had that
I
right
did
there.
this without your understanding that it was coming. And it said welcome on a curve, and then it had mountains underneath of that. And some people liked
Why
that.
did it say welcome on a curve?
Well, it was the word welcome, and the word welcome was on a curve.
Oh, so it didn't just say welcome on a curve.
No, it didn't say that.
Because I mean, like, why are we welcoming
That
people
would be
on
odd.
a curve?
You never know. They might live on a curve.
They might. There are some
You never know where
who
people live.
Do live on a curve.
Spar urethane semi-gloss. I don't like a shiny sign, but I don't want it dull either. So it gives a little sheen to it.
Uh-huh.
Can you say that? Sheen. Got to use your hands.
Sheen.
There you go.
Like Charlie.
No, not at all.
So what's our our topic today, our message, whatever we're going to talk about,
Well, what I thought we would talk about today is Steven's love life.
or the lack thereof.
Well, I don't know. We got to talk to you about it. Find out what's going on with your love life.
Hello, ladies.
You just got everybody that was just turned off. Respect the other day in integrity and talking about leaders and people who are in charge of things and how they've got to be self-controlled to handle things. Your mic okay?
Yep.
Okay. What is fruit?
And I'm assuming we're not talking about the delicious fruit from the vine.
It could be. That's fruit, isn't it?
Sure.
How would you define fruit?
A tomato.
A tomato is a fruit.
Weird.
Have you ever gone out and just picked a tomato off the vine and bit into it and eat it right on the spot?
Never. It's always come from a store or farmer's market, something
Right.
like that.
It's interesting. I did that years ago. You know, we had a garden and just went out and picked up one, and my father and I were out there picking some, and he thought, I wonder how good this is. And he bit into it, and I said, ooh, you're not anything good. He said, try it. So I ate one there, too, right there in the garden.
And you didn't even wash it.
No,
There
dirt
could've
and
been-
everything.
There's been bug pee all over it.
Could have been.
Think about that.
Fruit is the manifest evidence one may expect from a life in which the Spirit of God is living and reigning.
So what exactly does that mean?
Just what it says.
That was very helpful.
Apple trees bear apples. Pear trees bear pears. I started to say something up there.
Bear trees, bear bears.
And so love today, put it up there again, 1 Corinthians 13. Love is patient. It's kind. Does not envy.
No
It
envy.
does not boast.
No boasting.
Not proud.
Not
It
proud
is
about
not
that.
rude.
No rudeness.
It is not self-seeking.
Not seeking nothing.
It is not easily angered.
No
Just the
grumpy
least little
pants.
thing. It keeps no records of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in truth. And I love this part. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails.
Let's put some action to it.
Puts-
A little spin. All right, before we start, I am going to show another thing, and you might be able to tell what it is.
I think I can tell from here.
Is
Kinda
it
bright.
Is it bright? Is
Glowing.
it noticeable? Okay, so let's see. See there it is. Let's see if I can get this out of the way.
Get the,
Okay.
There you go.
See, all right. See.
Hashtag.
Hashtag. Oh wait, that's up here.
There it is.
That's backwards on the screen.
It is.
Hashtag a God thing. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool right there. Yeah, right there. Uh-huh.
That's,
Okay.
that's enough of that.
All right.
I bought the logo hat.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you all see that?
And
The
if-
hat
if
with
you-
the logo?
If you can't, we'll have to...
We'll zoom in on that a little bit.
Yeah,
and
something
then
like
not only that, I bought some decals
that. Oh.
that I put on front of
Oh,
my
yeah.
cup.
The cup there.
There's one on the computer.
the computer.
They come in these nifty little cards like this.
Oh, yeah.
And it came inside of a bag.
Uh-huh.
And then you just pull this little tab. See that tab
Little
right there?
tabby tab tab.
Zip it right off.
All right.
And when you reach inside, lo and behold, there's not one in there. I'm just joking. One of the things that's a new thing we do, it's called a charcuterie board.
Charcuterie.
People seem to love these
And
things.
the other one's slightly bigger than that one, isn't it?
Just a little bit. Yeah, that's
So,
the
yeah,
small one,
that's
believe it or not.
That's the small one.
That's,
That's a big paddle right there.
That's right, boy. You get the kids out of shape and you can use that thing. Oh, Daddy. People make them in all shapes and sizes. This just is the one I chose to do for my first
Are we
one.
talking about children or paddles?
We talked about love last time. What do you think we're going to talk about today? Take a wild guess.
Joy.
Stephen's joy.
Oh my gosh.
Well, what about it, Steve? What?
Why is it always Stevens?
Because you're the other person here, and I'm leading the
Joy
discussion.
down in my heart.
We'll get to that one later. You're getting ahead of my slides. So, what brings you joy, Steve? But it's
And make Jeff Bezos, whatever his name is, to build more interesting looking rockets.
that's right. That was I won't go into that
Nope.
one.
Nope.
Interesting looking rocket. Weird design.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you think about it, that it don't have to be like, oh, I got this, so I'm happy and I'm joyful. D. James Kennedy's church down in Florida. I think it's in Miami. Don't get me wrong, people, if it's not there. But anyway, I visited that church once or twice. But there were...
Is that the crystal-looking one?
No, that's the one in California.
Which one am I thinking about then?
You're thinking of the Crystal Cathedral, was Robert Schuller's church in California. And I was there once, too.
It looks like crystal?
Yeah.
Is it light?
Yes. It's just gone, and I got to go hunting for it. I don't know.
Gone.
An amazing feat of evolution, a plastics. There we go. Go for it, Steve.
Maybe some other time.
I
Give
keep
people
trying to
that
talk
joy.
Steve into us singing a song together, and we haven't had it happen yet.
Maybe one of these days we will.
Believe it or not, right here in this corner.
Believe it or not, I'm walking. Okay, now. Speaking of things like the farmer's market,
Yeah.
guess what?
What?
I have a new merch shirt.
New merch shirt.
Merch shirt.
Merch shirt.
Merch shirt. I call it the Jesus fishing shirt. Doesn't have like an official title.
No.
But it just says Jesus on it, and it's got the Christian symbol of the fish. So before we get on to our continuation from last time, I got a fun little thing.
Oh no.
It is time for random dancing. Okay,
That's about as good as we can do.
Yeah. All right.
If the guy had lost, God was still on the throne. There still is a God. He's still in charge. He's handling this.
Do you think that that his throne is porcelain?
I have no. You would go there. Yeah, you won't be able to see that. Now, here's the new part.
Wait.
Oh, well, I'll back up one so you don't see that.
So
Calm down.
just calm. Just calm. Are you calm?
Got a little excited there about the joy.
Just calm.
The joy had hit me.
Did the joy hit you? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
It is his word to us, but we have to put our...
But it is a great tool to slap the devil out of somebody.
You want to sometimes. And then lastly, and today, of course, we've been talking about joy, the major importance of joy. And as Stephen gets joy out of throwing some lipstick on over there.
Not lipstick. It's lip balm.
Boom. Gonna blow your lips up.
Yeah. Look at it, it's blowing up. Alright, wait a minute. I'll take a quick nap. That doesn't sound like me at all.
I think you've been reading my notes and further ahead here because you're saying some of the things we're going to say. It's amazing.
It's just that mental telepathy part. Thank you.
Those two very rich billionaires have launched rockets in the past few weeks, months, whatever it's been.
Yeah.
And went just basically up to where space is. You have weightlessness and turn around and come right back down after like 10 minutes.
Of course, the third one, Elon, the musky one.
Jesus is coming in the garden to pray before he's going to be crucified. And a snake comes slithering across the ground, and he takes his foot and stops its head and crushes it. And I remember when I was watching it, and I don't think a lot of people caught on to what that was all about. And I'm sitting there and I went, yes! What's he doing?
Apparently, he doesn't like snakes.
Hey, Steve, is it time to start?
Oh, hey!
Well, you know how this show is. It's such a interesting and lively show. Had to get me a little bit of coffee there.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I haven't been waiting long at all.
Just a sip, and it was so good, sucking on that coffee. And so I had a couple of sips, and I was enjoying it. And as I was going a little bit further, I went to take another little sip. And as I did, we hit a bump. One of those, and I got a mouthful of very, very hot coffee that I couldn't just spit into there. Didn't want to spit in the car, so I real quickly swallowed it down. I'm wiggling my tongue around, wiping my mouth. Do you feel like you're a patient person?
I've been told I am. Internally, not so much.
Well, I think it's like all of us because you and I are alike in so many different ways, and we do some of the same stupid things.
I don't see the resemblance.
We don't always exercise it as well as we should, and because of that, sometimes God will bring trials our way in order for us to understand how to be patient and to persevere through things.
So do you think when you're exercising the fruit of spirit, they have to lift weights?
No,
Do a little running?
not that kind of exercising.
Right.
Back to word patience again.
Patience.
It's putting up with someone takes patience, whoever you might be around. So it equals putting up with someone.
Had an itch.
Creation into being, just said, let there be, and it was there, and that he would say, hey, I'm going to become flesh like y'all. And then he had to put up with this.
Do you think he said y'all?
Yes.
What was
he
Jesus?
Southern. Nazarene.
I was going to say, is Nazareth in the South?
Job was a wealthy man.
He was.
He had lots of crops and property and cattle and servants.
Do you think his crops were in a circle?
Yes. In the land of Uz, there lived a man whose name was Job. This man was...
Do you think that Uz was near Oz?
Probably. Cousin cities, back to back, something like that. That was like that. It said he feared God and shunned evil. I think that's an important phrase to think on, about shunning evil. Just seeing what time it was. God says to Satan, have you considered my servant Job? When that happens, I always think I'm going to sit there and say, God, I love you, but why'd you do that? Why'd you put him on me? That's a mind-blowing thought.
It's because I love you.
That's right, and it does. He really does. Because
I'm like, could you love me a little less?
you can put a deposit, earnest money they call it, that you put down to say, okay, this is mine. They're not going to sell it to anybody else.
So Ernest is saving your house.
That's right. Yes.
I thought he was just saving Christmas and
right.
camp and everything.
People don't even remember Ernest probably anymore. It's an old movie. You are pressing for that.
What are you talking about, Ernest?
Ernest too.
Welcome to Jurassic Park. Wait, nope, that's not it. Welcome to Jumanji. No, that's not it either.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, I know.
You forgot to put the computer chip in.
I did. Maybe if I actually looked at our sign for a second, I can say, welcome to the Rock.
And then he did the mummies.
Mummy. And like I told people last year, see, I did the mummies last year, and I told them, hey, guess what we're going to do next year? And they said, what? The Mummy Returns.
There we go. But one of the words, and I underlined it there, was to clothe ourselves with kindness. We have to make it a conscious thought. Do you have conscious thoughts?
No.
Steve's in a state of unconsciousness most of the time. Seeing somebody say, hey, you look particularly nice today. Are you okay? Just, make sure you said something kind, not to set it off.
So when you said I looked nice the other day, you were just being kind?
Absolutely.
All right. Hey, guess what time it is? Guess. Kate, what time is it? Guess. What time is it? Guess. Huh?
Go ahead. Tell me what time it is.
It's random dancing time.
Woo! That's enough of that.
Okay. Rubber pencil. Oh, You're back. Okay. I hope everybody enjoyed all those clips, and I thought they were pretty awesome, and hope that all of you will come back and see us next time. So, goodbye, everybody. All right, welcome back to another exciting episode of The Crown and Spear. I'm your host, Stephen Litchfield.
And I'm Gary Litchfield.
And we have an awesome show to present to you today. I have no clue what we're going to talk about, but, that's part of the enjoyment of the show. All right, everybody. Welcome back to another fabulous episode of The Crown and Spear. I am your host, Stephen Litchfield, and this is my co-host,
Gary Litchfield.
And we have a fabulous show for you. And like always,
As always,
I don't know what we're going to talk about. Welcome to another fabulous episode of The Crown and Spear. I'm your host, Stephen Litchfield, and this is my co-host,
Gary Litchfield.
Welcome to another fabulous episode of The Crown and Spear. I'm your host, Stephen Litchfield, and this is
Gary Litchfield.
All right, hey, I got a question for you. How much does a polar bear weigh?
I don't know. What?
Enough to break the ice. Welcome to a brand new episode of The Crown and Spear. I'm your host, Stephen Litchfield, and this is
Gary Litchfield.
And we got an amazing, fabulous new show for you today. And like usual, I don't know what's going to happen. Welcome to another fabulous episode of The Crown and Spear. I'm your host, Stephen Litchfield, and this is my host, Tickle Me Softly.
Gary Litchfield.
Oh, okay. Welcome to another fabulous episode of The Crown and Spear. I am your host, Stephen Litchfield, and this is my co-host, Gare Bear Litchfield.
Joe.
Welcome to another fabulous episode of The Crown and Spear. I'm your host, Stephen Litchfield, and this is my co-host, Gary Snores-a-Lot Litchfield.
Just Gary Litchfield. The Snores a Lot's not part of the official name, although I do it.
Welcome to another fabulous episode of The Crown and Spear. I'm your host, Stephen Litchfield, and this is my co-host, Gary Can't Find His Tape Dispenser Litchfield. Welcome to another fabulous episode of The Crown and Spear. I'm your host, Stephen Litchfield, and this is my co-host,
Beesman.
Okay.
Well, we're going to be getting in talking about peas.
Welcome to another fabulous episode of The Crown and Spear. I'm your host, Stephen Litchfield, and you know my co-host,
Gary Litchfield.
Welcome to The Crown and Spear. I'm your host, Stephen Litchfield, and this is my co-host,
Gary Litchfield.
Welcome. I'm your host, Stephen Litchfield, and this is my co-host,
Gary Litchfield.
And this is The Crown and Spear. We're glad everybody has tuned in today. At least we're hoping people are tuning into this. This is our very first episode.
First of many.
Hopefully first of many.
Yes.
Yes.